We living in a cult? It is of my personal belief and opinion based on life experience. We are living in a cult, a satanic cult, and we're involved in a spiritual war to unlearn and detach from the cult. You need to feel, to become aware of your emotions, and get out of your mind and brain. Listen, take note of the language they used, the words they use. If you are unsure on the definitions, look them up in a dictionary, and also the Black Book's Legalized Dictionary. They use a structure of control and fictional illusion called the strawman. To them, after 7 years, you are dead. At sea, they use admiralty law in combination with corporate law. Sea commerce, you were never born at sea as pertaining to the legal documentation. The birth certificate is produced under your words, etc. There are literal bonds in the spiritual world that entangles energy. The offer the cult make is with ill and evil intent to destroy your souls through the 7 deadly sins. So there will always be ill feeling, negativity, pain and suffering being within the cult. It's done on purpose because they can control the subconscious with emotion. They can create confusion in your mind with only the subtlest of words. When someone says something that does not resonate with your truth and your heart, you will feel it. This is the truth. The eyes do not see, the third eye does. By using subtle manipulative tactics, they can create an image in your mind that is projected as an emotional scene or situation. From this, they can influence you. A living example would be when you watch X Factor. They have the one contestant that has had such a hard life. He had one shoe, a gimpy cat, and was abandoned by his mum at 2 years old. In this situation, they are projecting the emotion they have and want to utilize to their advantage. They want you to feel sympathy, compassion, feel, oh, that's a good person. He needs a little help in life. If they want him to win, they'll use that emotion to influence your physical actions and buy your vote. Recently, they said to you, if you don't go and get the jab, you won't be able to travel. The emotional sadness of not being able to go led many to go the death jab. They made you feel a certain way so that you would comply. This is coercion, illegal act. Then afterwards they turned around and said, we never influenced people, they were voluntary. Yes, they were, but initially they used an alternative word which meant the same thing. This is how, believe they manipulate the language with semantics. Originally mandatory, which is a legal term of consenting voluntarily, instead of saying voluntary from the outset, they drew more people in to get the jab through creating confusion of the language. Here they created an illusion of importance associated with the word mandatory, highlight in a way the importance and it being imperative, like you must. They indirectly lied to, but also told you the truth. It is a sick, abhorrent game. Become aware before it is too late. Written and published by JM 1211 2023. JM. What is a cult? Source and interaction with the AI. ChatGPT. OpenAI. ChatGPT. A cult, in a sociological or religious context, is a group or movement that exhibits excessive devotion to a particular person, object, or set of beliefs. Such groups often have a hierarchical structure with a charismatic and authoritarian leader who holds significant influence over their members. The term cult can carry negative connotations, especially when it is associated with practices that are considered harmful, manipulative, or exploitative. Some common characteristics associated with cults include charismatic leadership. Cults are typically led by charismatic and authoritarian individuals who exert a powerful influence over their followers. Manipulative techniques. Cult leaders may use manipulative techniques such as mind control, isolation from outside influences, and the promotion of an us versus them mentality to maintain control over their members. Exclusivity. Cults often promote an exclusive belief system that separates their followers from mainstream society. They may encourage a sense of elitism or superiority among their members. Financial exploitation. Some cults may financially exploit their members through excessive demands for monetary contributions, donations, or the exploitation of their labor. Psychological and emotional manipulation. Cults may employ psychological and emotional manipulation tactics to instill fear, guilt, or dependency among their members, making it difficult for individuals to leave the group. Isolation from outside influences. Cults often isolate their members from friends, family, and the broader community to maintain control over their beliefs and behaviors. It is important to note that not all religious or spiritual groups with strong beliefs or practices should be classified as cults. While some groups may exhibit behaviors or beliefs that could be perceived as unconventional or unorthodox, it does not necessarily imply that they are harmful or manipulative. However, when a group exhibits several of the characteristics mentioned above and engages in harmful practices that jeopardize the well-being and autonomy of its members, it may be considered a cult. Gem or cults entice you with sex and drugs. ChatGPT. While it's not a universal characteristic, some cults have been known to use sex and drugs as manipulative tools to control and exploit their members. These practices can be highly damaging and are often indicative of an abusive and harmful cult. Such behaviors can include sexual exploitation. Some cult leaders may manipulate their followers into engaging in sexual activities with them or with other members of the group. This can involve coercion, manipulation, and the exploitation of power differentials within the cult. Drug use and control. Certain cults may use drugs as a means of control or to create altered states of consciousness among their members. They may encourage or enforce drug use as a way to induce dependence and weaken the critical thinking abilities of their followers. These practices are typically part of a broader strategy to control and manipulate members. Fostering dependence and loyalty to the cult leader or the group. Engaging in such activities can lead to severe psychological, emotional, and physical harm to individuals involved. It's important to be aware of these warning signs and to exercise caution when encountering groups or organizations that employ such manipulative tactics. If you or someone you know is involved in a group that exhibits these behaviors, it's crucial to seek support from trusted friends, family, or professionals who can provide guidance and assistance in leaving the group and recovering from any harm experienced. Gem. How will a cult present information to members? ChatGPT cults may use various techniques to present information to their members in a way that reinforces their belief system, maintains control, and fosters a sense of dependency. Some common strategies employed by cults to present information include propaganda and indoctrination. Cults often use propaganda and intense intonation techniques to control the flow of information and shape the beliefs of their members. This can involve the dissemination of biased or misleading information that reinforces the cult's ideology and discourages critical thinking or questioning. Isolation from external sources. Cults may isolate their members from outside information sources, such as the media, family, and friends who do not belong to the group, by controlling the information that their members have access to. Cult leaders can manipulate their perception of reality and maintain their influence over the group. Group study and discussion sessions. Cults often organize group study sessions, discussions, or lectures where specific teachings or doctrines of the group are emphasized and reinforced. These sessions may be carefully structured to discourage dissenting opinions and promote group cohesion. Use of manipulative language. Cults may use manipulative language and rhetoric to influence the beliefs and behaviors of their members. This can involve the use of persuasive techniques, loaded language, and emotional appeals to strengthen the group's ideology and foster a sense of belonging among members. Controlled access to information. Cults may restrict access to information that contradicts or challenges their belief system. Members may be discouraged from seeking alternative viewpoints or engaging with critical perspectives that could undermine the authority of the group or its leader. It is important to be vigilant and critically evaluate the information presented by any group or organization, especially when there are signs of information control, manipulation, or isolation from external sources. Cults often seek to create an environment where their members are heavily dependent on the group for information and guidance, which can make it challenging for individuals to maintain an independent and critical perspective. Gem. How will a cult control access, and would they use censorship? ChatGPT cults commonly control access to information and resources through various means, which may include censorship and manipulation. These tactics are often employed to maintain authority, prevent members from questioning the group's beliefs, and limit exposure to external influences. Here are some ways in which cults may control access and use censorship, restricting external communication. Cults may prohibit or closely monitor communication between members and individuals outside the group, including family and friends. This restriction is intended to prevent the dissemination of information that may challenge the group's teachings or influence over its members. Filtering media and information. Cults may restrict access to external media, such as newspapers, television, and the internet, to prevent members from encountering information that contradicts the group's ideology. They may promote specific narratives and discourage exposure to dissenting viewpoints or critical analyses, suppressing dissenting voices. Cults often discourage or suppress dissenting voices within the group by labeling critics as adversaries or enemies. They may employ tactics such as shunning, isolation, or public humiliation to discourage members from expressing doubts or questioning the group's beliefs and practices. Promoting internal propaganda. Cults frequently promote internal propaganda that reinforces the group's ideology and portrays its leader in a favorable light. This internal messaging may be used to control the narrative within the group and discourage critical thinking or independent analysis of the information presented. Limiting exposure to outsiders. Cults may limit members' exposure to individuals outside the group who hold different beliefs or perspectives. By fostering an insular environment, cult leaders can reinforce a sense of us versus them mentality, which further solidifies the group's identity and discourages members from seeking external information. These strategies are aimed at creating an environment of information control and dependency, where members rely primarily on the group's leadership for guidance and validation. Recognizing and understanding these tactics can be crucial in identifying potentially harmful or manipulative group dynamics. If you suspect that someone you know is involved in a group that employs such control tactics, it is important to approach the situation with care and provide support in a non-judgmental and empathetic manner. Source: take a read, look inside, reflect on each aspect and ponder if it is the world we are now living in. I've personally witnessed too much to not believe there is a satanic cult ruling the world. They show and tell you everything: a drug cartel, a deep state, a new world order, whatever you want to call it, it is what it is.